The Zephyrian council chamber fell silent as Captain Sarah Chen stepped forward, her worn combat boots echoing against the crystalline floor. The alien delegates, beings of impossible beauty with their translucent skin and ethereal forms, regarded her with what she had learned to recognize as their version of disdain. "Human," spoke Council Prime Veltar, his voice carrying the harmonic resonance that made lesser species weep with joy. "Your application for military alliance has been reviewed?" Sarah remained motionless, her scarred hands clasped behind her back. The burns on her left arm, barely visible beneath her uniform sleeve, throbbed with phantom pain, a reminder of Kepler 442b. "The Council finds your species inadequate," Veltar continued, his words rippling through the chamber like disturbed water. "Humans break too easily. Your fragile biology, your limited lifespans, your emotional instability, these are not the qualities we seek in our grand coalition." A murmur of agreement whispered through the assembled delegates. The Kethmori bobbed their crystalline heads, their thoughts synchronizing in that eerie way that had unsettled human diplomats for decades. The Vorthak simply stood in their mechanical stillness, their artificial consciousness calculating probabilities of human failure. "We appreciate your enthusiasm," added Counselor Zixhai, her tone carrying the patronizing warmth of an adult addressing a persistent child. "But the evidence is clear. Humans die in environments where our warriors thrive. You require artificial atmosphere, temperature regulation, constant nourishment. Your minds shatter under psychic assault. Your bodies fail under gravitational stress." Sarah's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. She had heard these arguments before, in classified briefings and late-night strategy sessions. The other species saw humanity's limitations as weaknesses, never understanding that limitations bred innovation. Furthermore, Veltar gestured, with one elegant appendage toward a holographic display, "Our intelligence indicates that humans have an alarming tendency toward self-destruction when faced with impossible odds. Rather than strategic retreat, you engage in what can only be described as suicide missions." The hologram showed footage from the Battle of Titan's Gate, where the human fleet had held the line against the Devourers for 72 hours, buying time for the evacuation of 3 colony worlds. The camera lingered on the final moments, ships ramming into creatures the size of space stations, Marines holding breached airlocks with their bare hands, captains staying at their posts as their bridges were consumed by cosmic fire. "This is not courage," Zixhai observed clinically. "This is mental instability. Healthy species preserve their valuable individuals. They calculate acceptable losses. Humans seem incapable of such rational thought." Sarah reached into her jacket and withdrew a small weathered tablet. The delegates tensed. Weapons were forbidden in the council chamber, but humans were known for their unpredictability. "May I?" she asked, her voice steady as bedrock. Veltar's translucent features shifted in what might have been curiosity. "Proceed." Sarah activated the device, and her service record appeared in the air above them, page after page of missions, commendations, injuries, and resurrections. The alien delegates leaned forward despite themselves. "Page 3, Sarah said simply, "is where I died the first time." The record showed the Proxima incident. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, age 24, leading a rescue mission into a collapsed mining facility on a world where the atmosphere could dissolve lung tissue in minutes. The mine shaft had flooded with toxic gas. 17 miners trapped below. Standard protocol: mark the facility as a total loss and evacuate. The file showed her death: clinical, precise, respiratory failure, cardiac arrest. 4 minutes and 37 seconds of clinical death while her team dragged her body back to the surface, where the medics shocked her heart back to life. All 17 miners survived. Page 7, Sarah continued, scrolling through her record. Second death, Kepler 442b. The display showed a charred landscape where the Kethmori research station had been overrun by indigenous predators. The evacuation shuttles had been destroyed. Sarah had manually overridden the station's reactor to create an electromagnetic pulse, buying time for the researchers to escape in maintenance pods. The radiation had killed her instantly. The medics had brought her back 22 minutes later. 43 Kethmori scientists had lived. Page 11, third death. Her voice remained emotionless as she recounted dying in the vacuum of space, sealing a hull breach with her own body. Page 15, fourth death. Vorthak Research Facility. She had absorbed a lethal dose of exotic radiation while manually shutting down an experimental weapon that would have consumed an entire star system. The chamber remained absolutely silent as Sarah scrolled through death after death, resurrection after resurrection. Each time, the official cause was the same. Human subject chose mission completion over personal survival. Page 19, fifth death. I held the line at the Andromeda Gate for 6 hours with a severed spinal cord. She looked up at the council, her eyes like steel. Page 23, sixth death. I died holding a nuclear device to prevent the devourers from reaching Earth. Sarah closed the tablet and placed it back in her jacket. You say humans break easily, she said, her voice cutting through the silence like a blade. You're absolutely right. We break every day. Our bones shatter, our organs fail, our minds snap under pressure. She stepped forward and several delegates instinctively moved back. But here's what you don't understand about humans. The holographic display shifted, showing not her deaths, but what came after each one. The lives saved, the missions completed, the impossible victories snatched from the jaws of defeat. We don't just break, Sarah continued. We break forward. When a human breaks, we make sure that break saves someone else. We turn our fragility into a weapon. Her voice grew stronger. You see weakness where others see sacrifice. You see instability where others see determination. You see death where others see purpose. She gestured to her record. 6 deaths. Hundreds of lives saved. And I'm still here, still fighting, still breaking in new and creative ways. A ghost of a smile crossed her features. The universe tried to kill me 6 times, and 6 times I came back with friends. Veltar's harmonic voice carried a note of uncertainty. But the psychological trauma, the physical damage, scars, Sarah said simply. We collect them. Each one tells a story about something we protected, someone we saved, some line we held. She rolled up her sleeve, revealing the burn marks from Kepler 442b. These aren't weaknesses. They're proof that when the universe said impossible, we said, watch me. The Vorthak delegate's mechanical voice crackled to life. The probability matrices suggest that human behavior patterns are statistically anomalous. We specialize in statistical anomalies, Sarah replied. It's what makes us human. Council Prime Veltar exchanged glances with his fellow delegates, the chamber filled with their harmonic whispers, a sound like wind through crystal chimes. Finally, he spoke. The council will reconsider your application. Sarah nodded once, crisp and military. You'll find humans are very good at making the impossible possible. We've had a lot of practice. As she turned to leave, her words echoed in the chamber. After all, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And what does kill us, well, we've gotten pretty good at coming back from that, too. The great doors sealed behind her, leaving the council to contemplate a species that turned mortality into victory, weakness into strength, and death into just another obstacle to overcome. In the hallway beyond, Sarah Chen smiled and began planning for humanity's next impossible mission.